This is Durag Wisdom here, folks, and before I begin my broadcast today, I just want to drink a toast to all my subscribers and even all my detractors. And I want to, especially those folks who are out there fighting in the indivisible movement and the resistance. We have two very important social movements right now. Dissent, I love it. Against this creep, and I call them the indivisible. They call them the indivisible, and you can look them up. And then there's also the resistance, and Robert Reich, Professor Robert Reich on YouTube. Check him out. Check out the resistance with Keith Olbermann on YouTube. So many places you can go to for information. It's very encouraging. But this is 112 proof rare breed wild turkey bourbon. This is made totally with, it's one of those barrel proof. There's no water in it. It's just total bourbon. That's my favorite drink, by the way, wild turkey. And I want you, about bourbon. It's like the American drink, I mean, that's the American, like we got Scotch. I mean, I'm listening to the Braveheart music score in the background. That's a movie, music score by the late, great James Horner, and it was a movie directed by my favorite anti-Semite, Mel Gibson, who happens to have another movie out. Anyways, I should be drinking Scotch, and I love Scotch also. I have Pinch in there. But bourbon, the American, Humphrey Bogart, give me a bourbon. Bourbon. Yeah, bourbon and water. Well, this is straight up. And this is to you folks. Okay? And I thank you for taking the time to put aside your time to watch me, and I can't promise you're always going to agree with me, but that's okay. I'm an independent person. I'm not always politically correct, and I'm going to have opinions you're going to like or not like, but sincerely speaking, I want to, in my own way, and the fact that I'm an old person, I want to give a little guidance, durag wisdom to these beleaguered young people, these besieged young people out there who are being attacked by this creep and his cabinet. Anyways, l'chaim, and to you great folks out there who are protesting. You should try that rare breed. Every wacko knows their own. And I'm no exception. The other day I told you folks that I'm suffering mental illness, a chemical imbalance in the brain, depression. I have chronic depression, which I medicate myself for. As little as possible, just to take the edge off, because I want to experience my emotions to some extent. Also suffer from some kind of, I consider, a borderline personality. I also feel I'm suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder. And the reason I know all this stuff, I'm an educated person, I mean, I graduated high school, I went to college, I went to graduate school, I was a teacher, and when I think about my mental illness, I'm thinking of also John Nash, who had severe schizophrenia, and they made a movie about him called A Beautiful Mind, and, he had schizophrenia, and he was able to rationally deal with it by ignoring his hallucinations. If I go off on a depressive binge, it's not the hallucinate. I don't hallucinate. It's just it's like, how can I put it? When you get depressed, one of the things that I think that happens to me personally is it's like when you have a bad dream that affects your entire day. Like the feeling of your entire day. You have a bad dream, you wake up, and the whole day it seems to be infused, seems to be identified, seems to, and then the following day, you're okay. I mean, I used to have that growing up. And depression is like, that's all the time. It's like as if you woke up every day from a bad dream, and it's interpreting it's imbuing your entire outlook and feeling, in your whole day. So, and when I say every wacko knows their own, I'm talking about another mentally ill person. And me, I'm not the president of the United States. The only one that's suffering with me and my mishigas is my poor wife. So, I mean, at least I'm not at the helm of the ship. Every wacko knows their own. And when I look at that piece of crap, that turd, that traitor, that Putin-loving scumbag, the birther Trump Putin. I've always said, and I've been saying since the beginning of my broadcasts, that Don Trump Putin birther bastard is mentally unbalanced. The most frightening possibility. It would make a great motion picture, and here we are in it. When I look at this creep, this birther bastard, I could see it. I could see the mental illness in there. I feel it. I look at it, right? And I'm like, that's my phone, by the way. I look at him, and I'm like, I see the narcissism. I see the obsessiveness, very obsessive. I see the paranoia. I see sociopathy or psychopathy. They interchange these terms. This is a very, very dangerous situation that we're in right now with this person. Okay, so I know that this man is sick in the head. I know that he is unhinged because I grew up in it. I grew up in chaos. I grew up in constant chaos. I grew up with uncertainty, with self-loathing. I mean, I'm a narcissist also, but in a negative way. The negative way, like I despise myself. It's like, I'm the only one on this planet who could be the most despicable. See, that's narcissism. See, as an educated person, I'm able to recognize the things that I am doing and feeling. Like I'm talking about the beautiful mind before. See, I see it, and I try to deal with it. Because I want to, I want to be a functioning member of society. And I want to be creative and artistic, and I want to be helpful. I don't want to end up with my thumb up my ass with shit on it, babbling away like an idiot. Okay? So, finally, they're talking about this guy. Last night in Lawrence O'Donnell, I had a psychiatrist, and they're saying, finally, that we have a mentally ill moron in office. We've got to get rid of him before he presses the red button with his little fingers. And once that shithead, his VP gets in there, or the other shithead, Eddie Munster, whatever, we'll deal with them one at a time. The Russians have attacked us, and we have a psycho in office. And take it from me, my friends, I know that he's a psycho because every wacko knows their own.